Cheap Sunglasses by ZZ Top, or ZZ Top as they say in Canada. It's a really cool riff that uses hybrid picking, and the Reverend Billy F. Gibbons plays some very tasty licks in this song. We're going to take a look at that riff, we're going to take a look at those licks, we're going to take a look at some hybrid picking, we're going to talk about pinch harmonics, we're going to be talking about playing phrases and playing dynamics. We're doing all of that today on Ray Plays Guitar, and I'm going to do it as simply and as accurately as possible. Let's get into it. Cheap Sunglasses, this song came out in 1979. And it appeared on ZZ Top's Deguello album. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not Hispanic, so that's why my Spanish sucks. But despite that fact, it didn't stop me from doing things like this.
This is Miguel.
Hola.
This is Miguel's son.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was the worst hola I've ever heard. This is one of those songs that I played wrong forever. And one of the key things to playing this right is the tuning. It's in standard tuning, however, we're just going to take our high E string, the first string, and tune it down to D. So we're bringing it down a whole step. So we have... that high E is now a D. That allows us to do this sort of thing. Now when I play straight across, I'm playing a major triad. In fact, I could play all four strings, and I'm just playing notes of a major triad. Just a major triad. And if we play this on the 3rd fret, we're playing the notes B, D, and F, which makes up a B-flat major triad. However, this triad, when we play it over a G root, now we're playing 4 different notes, and that creates a G minor 7 chord. And that's the tonality that this first riff is based off of. So this riff starts off, this is the verse riff, we start off by playing this triad on the first 3 strings. And we're sliding from the 2nd fret to the 3rd to do it. Now we can play this B-flat triad up here on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. However, that makes it a little difficult to go back and forth because we're going to be involving some open strings here. Plus, keep in mind, the Reverend Billy F. Gibbons is playing this and singing at the same time. So, you know, keeping his hand all local kind of helps out with that whole thing. We're going to play this triad, slide into it, and then here's where we come into this hybrid picking situation. Now, what is hybrid picking? It's where we use the pick and our fingers to pluck the strings. For this riff, we're just going to be playing 2 strings at a time. So I'm going to be using my pick, and now I'm going to be using my middle finger. And this is what we got to get used to. So for this song, we're going to slide that triad from 2 to 3. Then I'm going to play a single open 4th string. Then play the 1st fret of the 6th string. Then I'm going to play 3 of 6 and the open 4th string together 3 times. Then I'm going to play 1 of 5 and the open 3rd string together once. And then playing 3 of 5 and the open 3rd string. Now, it's kind of a staccato kind of a riff. Not overly staccato, but you don't want to let the notes ring out fully. We don't want that. I'm also applying different weight to different notes. Kind of exaggerating it there, but that kind of gives it some breath and some life. Now, this hybrid picking thing, It took me a little while to get used to it. I did not take to it very easily. It felt very awkward for me. Start off just getting used to doing that. Get used to doing it one at a time. Also. But it's a technique definitely worth getting down. After I got used to it, I noticed that technique was creeping into all sorts of my playing. Anywho, go get yourself some cheap sunglasses. This next riff I call the post-chorus riff, because I guess the chorus is, go get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then they got that electric piano part, which sometimes I'll kind of fake it doing that. Just kind of C octave things. But anyway, so here's the riff. We're going to be playing the same dyads that we were doing in the verse. But this time starting with this one. That's all there is to that. Then we have this bridge section, which is just taking this triad, but we're going to play it on the 10th fret. And then move it to the 9th. These two chords, those two triads are played over a G pedal tone. Thus he just holds down a G note the whole time. So it creates these really very complex kind of dissonant chords. Not even sure what they are. What is going on here? So we have an F, A, C. So it's an F triad to an E triad all over a G. Now an E triad has a G sharp in it over a G. Wow, crazy chord. So it kind of has if G is the root, this is what, a 6th, a flat 9, and a 5. The F would be a flatted 7. We have a 9. A is the 9. C would be the 11. So we have a bunch of extensions. Kind of crazy. One cool thing I saw Phil X do to sort of mimic that synth part, that woo, 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 is he was playing that note on the 6th string. That note's G sharp. So he was bringing it up to the 16th fret here while holding those chords. Something like that. Then there's only one other riff in the song, and that's in the outro, where we're going. So we're going from F to G, 1 and 3 on the 6th string. We do that twice, and then again. Now, and then we have F, G, and then B flat, first fret of 5, back to G, F, G, B flat, G, F, open E, back to F. And again, we want to give different weight to different notes. And that's something we want to keep in mind as we go into the solo also. Speaking of the solo, let's get into it. The rhythm part under the solo goes like this. We're basically just playing a C sharp minor 7 chord. Now, playing a bar chord, not playing the 6th string, starting from the 5th string, we have frets 3, 5, 3, and 4. Not playing the 1st string, because that's detuned. Although it gives us this nice 11, we don't want it in this song. So we do this sort of thing here, Doobie Brothers sort of a thing. But then we get very percussive after that. Doing a little pull off there. And then a mute. Going back into that hammer-on. Then it goes to a B flat chord. Starting from the 5th string, 1, 3, 3, 3. Then he'll do this thing, hammering on from the 1st fret to all those notes on the 3rd fret. Back to C sharp minor 7. Then a D minor 7. Then a D major. After that, they're back into the section, the bridge, or whatever you want to call it. Now let's take a look at the licks Billy plays in the solo. There's 2 solos in the middle of the song, and then he's got that whole outro. The first solo, we're starting off playing over a C minor 7 chord. So here Billy's playing in a C minor pentatonic position. Here's our root here. We're kind of playing around this root on the 10th fret of the 4th string. So these are the notes that we're dealing with. We have a root, a 5th, a flat 7, and a flat 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 notes of a pentatonic scale right there. And he plays it like this. 1 E and a. So phrasically, one thing that you'll notice is he never starts on beat 1.
You don't add a 1.
Second phrase. With the same 3 first notes, then we're going to hammer on from 8 to 10, and then work our way backwards. This time, continuing down to the flat 5 on the 9th fret, 4th on the 8th, flatted 3rd on the 6th fret, 1 E N. When you listen to the song, pay attention to the way Billy attacks every single note. Some notes are really strong and kind of stick out. Other notes are just kind of flies by him. That makes his phrases more vocal, more interesting. Third measure. Same position, we're still over that C minor 7 chord. Starting again. The same 3 notes, this time just finishing on the 8th fret. And he kind of just falls off into that note. It's kind of like an afterthought note. Here's the first 3 measures together. Now the next measure is the first one where we don't start on the 1 E and This one we start on 1 E and a 2 E. On the E of 2, 1 E and a 2. So here we start on 8 of 5. Playing in this little pentatonic box. Blue note, hitting the 4th, ending on the flatted 3rd. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And again, this is a lick that kind of, you start off softly, you get loudest at the highest note, and then you bring it back down. And that's the dynamics involved with that phrase. Now we move down to a B flat chord, and here Billy just moves down 2 frets, and now is playing in like a B flat minor pentatonic position. But again, we're just kind of playing these middle strings, the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings here. So he's starting again in the same part of the pattern, starting on the 8th fret of 5, going to 6 of 4, going to the root on 8 of 4. Now from here, you're going to slide up to 11 and then continue with a slight bend. Now that was hard to hear. I wasn't even sure if he was really doing that. He's playing so dynamically that you could barely hear it. But I do believe that's what's happening. 1 E and a 2. The next measure, he bends this note, 8th fret of the 3rd string. It's just a quick full bend that you choke at the top of the bend. Back to the root here. And then that little thing. 1 E and a. So both of those B flat measures together. Then we're back to a C minor 7 chord with this lick, starting with the same 3 notes. The next measure, similar to a lick we had before, this time ending on the root C on the 8th fret of the 6th string. 1 E and a 2. And again, with this lick, you want to kind of get louder as the notes get higher, and then get softer as the notes get lower again. That takes us to a D minor chord. And over this chord, he's down in this position. Here's D, 5th fret of the 5th string. There's our root, but we're going to start on the 5th fret of the 6th string on the note A. And do that same similar move, going from this 5th to the flatted 7th to the root. So we're going to play those 3 notes. And we kind of play them again, but I kind of ghost that first A. Then the next measure, we play the same 3 notes again. And then do that. 3, open, 3. It's the same notes again. But it's played in this rhythm. 1 E and a 2 E M. After that solo, they're back into the bridge section. And then that takes us into the second solo. Over the same chords. Start off C minor 7 chord. And here, we're starting on bending the 8th fret of the 5th string. With a bend, bringing it back down, working our way down to the root, but then sliding from 8 up to 10 on the 5th string. Next measure, we're just going to slide back down to 8. Play that twice quickly, and then slide back up to 10. 1 E and a. Both those measures together. 1 E and a. phrase kind of continues into this next measure. So we're still playing over the C minor chord. This time we're starting on the 8th fret of 4. So this is the longest phrase that he plays. It starts here on 8 of 4, going 8 to 10 of 4, then 10 of 5, back to 8 of 4, twice. Then you're going to slide down to 8 of 5. I'm doing that with my 3rd finger, kind of starting on the 10th fret, sliding down to 8. So we got... Then you're going to go 6 of 5, back to 8 a couple times, and then a little bend, a little quarter bend or half bend with a shake, back to 6 of 5, 8 of 5, then 8 of 6, then back to 8 of 5 with a bend, slight bend, ending on 6 of 5. And the next phrase here, we're playing over the B flat chord, starting on 8 of 6. Playing all these pentatonic box notes here. The next measure, 1 E and a. Still over the B flat chord, playing these 4 notes starting on 6 of 5. Playing that note again, then sliding to 10, then sliding to 13. That kind of a thing, 1 E and a. And that's the transition back to a C minor 7 chord. 1 E and a. Here we're back into the C pentatonic position, playing these 4 notes, starting on 8 of 5. And back to that. And then, coming out of that, next measure, 1. Starting on 8 of 4, the flatted 7 here. Then, slide immediately to 8 of 5, going to 6. Then you're going to go back to 8. You're going to bend that up, but choke it at the top of the bend. Come back to 8. Pull off. Hammer on. Now we're over the D minor 7 chord. And we're going to be playing down here in like a G minor pentatonic position, but playing kind of these Dorian notes. Here we're bending up the 2nd and 3rd string on the 5th fret. And I'm using one finger to cover both those strings, and I'm just pushing them up a little bit. Then coming back to 5. Then playing 3. And do the same thing again. And then after that, 5 of 3 and 3 of 2. The next measure happens over a D major chord, and we're going to do a similar thing. However, at the end of that measure, kind of do one of those kind of moves to get us into that next section. Now, Billy is a player that uses a lot of pinch harmonics or pick harmonics. What are those? It's when you're using your pick to access that kind of sound. So what I'm doing, I'm striking the pick, but then this part of my thumb touches the string and gets that harmonic. It's a technique that takes a little while to get used to. And a lot of experimentation. And if it's not happening, it could just be because you're not at the right... Some areas of the string, the harmonics come out a lot easier than others. That's the idea. I'm just taking this part of my thumb and kind of digging in and just touching the string. What I'm doing, like I normally pick like this. So I'm angling the pick this way, so then that part of my thumb can access the string. If I do it normally, my thumb can't get in there. So I have to go up like this, and suddenly, now, my thumb can get in there to get that pinch harmonic going. Yeah, hybrid picking and pinch harmonics, two techniques that did not come easily for me at all, but now I use both those techniques all the freaking time. So if you're struggling, just stick with it. Power through. You can do it. So this idea of not starting on beat one, and that's something I notice a lot of more accomplished players do. They'll kind of sit for a second, kind of scope out the scene, be like, hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? You know, they don't just, bust through the door. Hey, I'm here. No, they kind of ease into things, and then playing dynamically, giving different emphasis to different notes, giving different weight to different notes. And I think of it the same way that we talk. We don't say every word the same length, and we don't say it at the same volume. No, we vary it up. Some we say loud, some we say soft, and some we bring it up, and then we bring it down, and we change up our rhythm. Apply that to the way we play. Horn players have to take a breath, so they have to stop playing and take a breath. Guitar players, we can just go on and on and on. We have to consciously think about playing in phrases and taking breaths. So not playing on beat one kind of gives us an automatic breath. And that automatically sets us up to play more phrasically. So these are some cool licks that Billy plays. I don't think he plays these licks live. I mean, he never plays the same solo. He kind of improvises everything. Nonetheless, great licks. Some cool licks that we could just steal and start using in our own solos. But think phrasically. Think in terms of dynamics, and let's get some hybrid picking working in our playing also. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. If you found this video helpful, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to Ray Plays Guitar, hit that notification bell, but most of all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We'll see you next time.